Welcome to the Excel Purpose Show with Counselor. Today we have Daniel Wu. He aims to help people declutter their mind to create clarity. Welcome. Thank you for being here today.
Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Oh my God, Daniel, when I think about like when I met you, it's like more than 10 years ago. And back then, to me, you were this Asian guy that was like lacking motivation, didn't know where he was going.
Yeah.
And
It's
now
time.
you're completely different. Like you've transformed your life to like really fit, really looking after yourself and got your life, like you're living the dream life. Tell us, how did that happen? What's the trigger? What's those decision points?
I think it was just like looking at kind of where my life was and then looking at kind of where I wanted to, what I wanted to create, right? And then seeing sort of what's the missing piece in between where I am and what I want to create. And then I like kind of sat down, reflected, wrote all those things down. And if it was the life that I wanted to live, then I just followed that path, right? So back then it was like partying, a lot of doubt, a lot of insecurity, a lot of validation seeking, a lot of proving my self-worth, all that sort of stuff, right? And I was like, okay, that's not the life I want to live because, you know, it's not going to be a great life. And then deciding, okay, what do I want to live, right? I want to be more healthy, I want to be more fit, I want to feel more deeper connections with the people that surround me. I want to have a great relationship with my girlfriend, now my wife, you know, just more fulfillment and meaning, right? And so these were the distractions that I needed to slowly let go of. And this was getting in the way of sort of my progress, listing those down, and just kind of over time, as I was letting go of one distraction, then adding like a healthy routine in, you know, and then just sort of as you go through that process, there's a point where you go, oh, actually, I'm really enjoying this kind of life. Instead, I'm finding more expansion, more growth, you know, obviously getting more fit, starting to feel more confident, less fears, taking more action and whatnot. And yeah, just kind of kept going with it.
I love that. And I'm still thinking most people would not be able to motivate themselves. So let's go with a specific area. So let's do fitness. You weren't that fit when I knew you. Now you're super fit. What did you do exactly? So how did you go from, hey, I'm just going to hang at the couch and watch Netflix or whatever it is, right? Or eating pizza or whatever. Like, how did you slowly move that to like, well, I'm going to be really fit? Like, what is that like?
Well, that was literally it. You know, I was sitting on the couch watching Netflix, playing heaps of games, partying all the time, you know, having hangovers, waking up and being unproductive. And then I was just like, okay, well, this sucks. You know, like I'm not going anywhere, right? And even though I created my business, it's like I wasn't showing up to my business the way I wanted to show up. And so it really started with me feeling really groggy, unmotivated, not liking how I looked. And I just started, you know, okay, really simple. I just started walking, to be honest. Like that's my initiative all the time.
I think that's all we need to know, right? Like, it's like, what is that first step?
Yeah, I didn't go straight from like being undisciplined and unmotivated to boom, like, you know, working out 4 or 5 times a week. I just try to get myself to just walk around the block. That's all it was. Like, let me just get myself to walk around the block. And then as I started walking around the block, I was like, oh, this feels pretty good. You know, like I'm getting some sun, getting my body moving. And I would just keep that up every single day. And at some point I was like, okay, well, you know, maybe I can start working out again. And maybe, because I was a trainer, right? And I wasn't congruent. Yes. I wasn't living in integrity. Like I was, yeah, it was kind of a period of my life where I was really stuck. So yeah, started working out, really getting into that, started following like influencers and following people on YouTube that were just doing it and like inspiring us. And I was just like watching all those vlogs every single day. And it started to sort of like rewire my mindset, right? And I started, you know, speaking like them, like, oh, let's smash it out. Started sharing my journey on Instagram and, you know, sharing kind of like the daily, the process of it all. And yeah, it's just over time.
Yeah, it's super inspiring. That's how I noticed you. It's like I didn't talk to you for a while. Then your Insta basically started popping up. It's like, hey, how is this so fit now? And totally, it is that consistency, because you started posting a lot about, oh, okay, this is me, you know, half a year in after doing this, and then it's like later, it's like, oh, he's getting more and more fit. We actually watched it, like watched your transformation. I love that you posted the progress as you went through.
Yeah, it was a daily thing. Yeah, it was just showing up every single day. And there were moments where I was like, man, I'm so lazy, can't be bothered doing my nutrition right. You know, I want to just eat crap or whatever. But like at some point, as you continue to show up, like your mind and body starts to adapt. You start to get used to the movements. You start to get into your flow. You start to know what you enjoy, what you like to eat, what works with your body. And then, yeah, you just keep showing up.
So if you got to those down moments where you're like, life sucks, like things happens to our life, right? Like, okay, a crappy moment happened and you're like, okay, now I want to eat chips or like, not treat my body so well. How do you then get yourself out of this low point? Like, what would you do now? Because your mind has obviously shifted a lot. Do you still drop into them? And what do you do now?
Not so much now, but I think one of the things that really kept me stuck in those periods was like kind of guilting myself and not processing what I was going through and not accepting, making myself wrong basically. And that really kind of kept me stuck in those moments. Like now when I kind of in hindsight, I would have treated myself a lot better, been a lot kinder to myself, allowed myself, because it's all about balance, right? Like you don't go 100%. It's kind of like 70, 30, 80, 20, right? And so to allow myself to find that balance, and that's a process in itself, right? It takes time. You can't go from 100%, say, eating crappy foods to all of a sudden eating super healthy, right? You're going to have that period where you're adjusting. And so to be kind to yourself through that period and to process whatever you're going through. And just like to really back yourself through the journey.
I love it. I think this is going to be great. Like people can just take that away. Because what I found is most people want to aim so high. You're right. They want to go basically from that 0 to like that 100%, and then they get disappointed. So if someone wants to get fitter, like right now, if they go, yep, I want to live that life. I want to be fitter. What do you think is a reasonable amount of time that they should give themselves? Like,
I think it's different for everyone, so it's hard to say. Like, I think when I really found my groove was like after a year, so I'd been a trainer for a long time, but I was kind of doing not CrossFit, like TRX exercises, like kind of basic foundation. But when I took on this kind of bodybuilding journey to really change my body and create something else, that was like a whole new thing. And so my journey took a year of all the ups and downs, before I kind of found my footing and found my flow.
Yeah, cool. All right, so where do people go to find Daniel Wu? What's the best place?
DanielWuCoaching.com. You can follow my Instagram, Daniel Wu Coaching. And yeah, I'm having conversations with people every day. Like I'm not doing fitness training anymore. I'm doing like kind of life coaching, clarity, mindset, emotional work. So yeah, people can find me there and just follow the journey. I'm doing the same thing essentially with fitness, but now with the deep work, with the mindset, the emotional stuff, some of the things that I go through. I'm just sharing the journey. And so people usually engage in conversations or they'll ask me questions, and I'm always happy to, help out where I can or serve. And if that turns out, then we'll get into a conversation and potentially like a coaching agreement.
Excel in life, live your purpose, be free.